Hello, hello. We're back in it. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Boy, I tell you, when I was about to load this game up and I saw that your game needed an update, and not only did I see that it needed an update, but it said that the update was 2.5 gigs, boy was I excited, because, well, 2.5 gigs, that's huge. So I was thinking, here we go. new year, new update, this sim will be significantly improved. Well, boy, to our surprise, but also not surprise, that's not at all what it was. That entire 2.5 gig update was simply for an avionics issue that was occurring under certain graphics settings on the Xbox version of this game. So, total fake out, total Sike, biggest Microsoft Sike ever. So, we're still in the same position that we were before. The game is still having some troubles, and they continue to have these troubles for a while, I guess. So today is just going to be a relatively quick stream. Just wanted to hop on and run a quick flight with y'all. When I saw that update, I thought we were about to have a night-long party, but now I'm not as excited and awake, so that's unfortunate. That's alright though. At least we get a little time, and we'll just go ahead and run missions that we know work for us. Anyway, in this case it's the private charter, particularly with the Vision Jet. I seem to have the least amount of issues with this type of mission in this aircraft, excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and just run a quick mission. This one should be about an hour or so, and I guess we'll come up with something good for the next stream. We'll see what that is, but, you know, until I can figure that out, we'll stick with this stuff that we know works. Alright, so, once again, we're in the Vision Jet. We're in a private charter mission, and we're going to try and get our S-tier pilot rating back. So, I picked a flight where somewhere, I believe, in Ohio, and we're going somewhere in like Virginia or Kentucky or something like that. We're going south, opening up some more area, but nothing too crazy. So we'll go to the FB right here, I-66. So, I mean, yeah, we're kind of somewhere in like the Ohio, Indiana area, and then we're going to, this might actually be more North Carolina than Virginia, so we're heading over there, but we're definitely heading south and opening up some more map. Unfortunately, since the update wasn't a big one and had no relevance to anything that I wanted, I'm going to still wait until we start our own company. But after that update, I will start my own company and we'll go from there. Anyway, flight plan. So we're taking off from the Clinton Airport, India 66, and the departure procedure is just a VFR pattern. We're going to go ahead and see if we have anything else that we can do. We'll just do a direct change of procedure. That's usually the best departure that I like to do. And then we'll check if there's an approach procedure at this airport. It does not look like there's an approach. So we'll go ahead and leave the VFR pattern option in here. It looks like it has us in a teardrop, but we'll just go ahead and do a direct. That works for me. I'm just going to double check to see what this looks like. Yeah, we're just running a straight line. That's good by me. So just to make sure, departure procedure none, approach procedure none, and it's a straight line. I like it. We'll file that with ATC, and then we'll send the route to the avionics. Sweet. And our cruise altitude is 210, which is fair enough. I like it. One thing I did notice is that for this flight we have 1,096 pounds of fuel. I feel like that's different than the number that I used to always see. I think it was like 864 or something like that. This number has changed. So maybe we're in the right direction. Maybe we are starting to see the amount of fuel required for these missions. Who knows? But anyway, let's go ahead and fly it, see what we're in for. Gotta say, I was really pumped when I saw a 2.5 gig update, but boy, the disappointment was real. one thing that I was really hoping to stream was flying the Boeing 707, if I could speak. Seeing as how I bought the Aviator edition of this flight sim, but I did some research, and none of the aircraft that came with the Aviator edition seem to be in my sim currently. I don't know if that's a problem with everyone, or if it's just me, or what's going on there, but that's a problem. That stream is going to come in the future. I'll make sure that I get my Boeing 707, because that's the plane that I was really excited to fly when I got this sim, but looks like I'm going to have to wait for it, but that's alright. Anyway, we're ready to pre-flight. We'll go ahead and remove the chocks. Well, first things first, do what we normally do. Mission steps can come up here. We'll pull out the ATC window, and we'll throw it in the top left corner. Alright. So we're going to remove the chocks. We're going to remove the pitot cover, if we can get close enough. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and remove the engine cover. Alright, let's go ahead and open the door. And if I remember correctly, we don't just auto-enter this plane. Yep, that we do not. Alright, Shift C. Alright, we are inside the aircraft. Alright. We'll go ahead and request our boarding right away. Get these passengers ready to go.
Sir, boarding is now authorized. On behalf of our captain, welcome aboard. Roger that, Captain. They're on their way. Have a good flight.
Oh, it's a pretty nice car. Not a nice color, in my opinion, but it's a nice car.
Sir, I wish you a good flight on behalf of First Class Wings.
Quick favor, Captain. I'm expected in Mars Hill ASAP, so if you'd speed it up a bit, I'd appreciate it. I'll need to make some calls. I hope the signal hold up. If you can make sure it's good, I'd really appreciate it, Captain.
I like that it's
Thanks.
called Marsville. Feels like we're going to outer space. Alright. Cool. So, the passenger's on board, and we're ready to complete our startup procedure. I'm going to go ahead and remove the yoke, or the stick, whatever, so I can see the engine knobs here. Gears down. Everything looks in a good condition to turn the battery on. Make sure this throttle is to idle, which it is now. Alright, batteries 1 and 2 are coming on. Generators 1 and 2 are also coming on. Strobes are coming on as we're about to start the engine. Everything else is good for now. Okay, we'll go ahead and flip the knob, engine knob to run, so the fuel pumps are on, and we will start the engine.
Good morning.
And it looks like we're still not getting engine sounds in this sim, which is very disappointing, so
I know you'll give
can't
him a
really
warm
hear
welcome.
anything.
He's close to one of our top clients who booked the flight for him. Have a nice trip.
I will, thank you. Alright, oil pressure is coming up, oil temp is coming up, everything's in the green, ITT's in the green, N2's up, N1 is up. Everything is looking in the green for now. I like it, I like it. Alright. Altimeter's 3039er, looks like that was preset for us, so we're just going to roll with it. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my settings, my control settings, and make sure that everything is on the Flight Sim 2020 the way I like it. Okay, keyboard 2020 planes, that's what I like to see. B for altimeter, yeah, okay. So my controls on the keyboard did save. I love to see that, that's really important. So we'll go ahead and hit B, and it looks like the altimeter is 3039er, which is good. Our engine's running, excellent. We'll go ahead and initialize our fuel, fob sync, confirm. Sweet, we'll hit next. Everything is good on the aircraft boarding, the weight and balance. We'll just leave it as is for now. Hit next. Our route is loaded and properly. I like to see it. Next. And the takeoff data, origin, yep. Alright, next. And we'll accept the initialization. Cool. Alright, now let's go ahead and put everything on the pages that I like to see. This one's going to be weather. The middle one over here is going to be the map. And we're double checking all of the systems here. That looks good. I'm just going to go ahead and double check the electrical power system. Everything's good in the green. And then we'll leave it on the engine and fuel status. Cool. We're looking good on fuel. Nice. And we'll go to this page, back to the middle page. We'll go ahead and we'll leave the zoom at 25 nautical miles for now. We did file for flight level 210, so we'll pre-select, if I could speak, the altitude setting to 210. Seems that our display is having some very strange things going on here. Okay. The speed mode is in FMC, which is fine. The heading mode will sync with runway heading. That is fine. Sweet. Alright, we'll go ahead and turn the master oxygen on. The fresh air bleed is on. Probe heat is going to be on as well. The outside air temperature is -9 C, so the engine anti-ice is coming on. The takeoff emergency battery alert should not be coming on right now, so we're just going to ignore that, because that is a bug, confirmed to be a bug as well. We'll do 3 degrees on the nose up pitch for takeoff mode, fine by me. We'll go ahead and come down to the parking brake. We'll turn it off and step on the brakes so we don't roll. Alright, now we can announce our taxi. We are about ready to go. Actually, flaps to 50%, and then we'll announce our taxi.
India 6-6 traffic November 905, 435 is taxiing to runway 21.
Alright, we'll begin our taxi, and we should get a prompt to welcome our passengers aboard as we start moving. Which we do.
Sir, good morning, and welcome aboard this first-class wings flight to Mars Hill. I'm your captain and pilot today. Estimated flight time is 43 minutes. We're on time for departure waiting for takeoff clearance. I'll keep you informed during the flight if anything important comes up. Thank you.
We'll monitor our taxi speed, make sure we don't speed. Don't want any more than 25 knots. We are picking up speed rather rapidly, so we'll put on a little bit of braking, nice and easy, respect the condition of the aircraft, as that is one of the requirements for the pilot rating. And we'll come up on our hold short box here. Throttle's coming to idle. We'll bring it to a nice slow stop so we don't roast the brakes. Just let it roll until we're in the box. There we go. Stop and hold short. That's good. Just going to verify everything is good. Landing lights are coming on. Ice lights can stay off. It's the middle of the day. We're looking good there. And we will announce a south departure. All right. I like what I'm seeing. Let's do it.
India 6-6 traffic November 905, 435, taking off runway 21 south departure.
Alright, we're going to take the runway and we're going to announce to the passengers that we are about to take off.
This flight to Mars Hill. I'm here to ensure you have an enjoyable journey today. If there is anything I can do to make your flight more comfortable, please let me know. Please fasten your seatbelt, and remember this is a non-smoking flight. You'll find a safety briefing card in the seat pocket in front of you. Prepare for takeoff. Thank you.
Alright, kind of a hard angle to be turning here, which is fine. We'll just take it nice and slow. Alright, we are lined up with runway 21. The runway is correct. Our heading indicator agrees. So we'll go take off power. And again, we can't hear our engines, so we don't hear anything there. We have a slight crosswind from the left, so we'll keep that left aileron in. We're picking up in forward speed, so we'll walk that crosswind correction out. Actually, that sock is starting to freak out. Don't know what's going on there. But we'll lightly pull up on the nose. We have a positive rate of climb, so gears coming up. Neat, neat. Alright. And we're hitting 115 on the airspeed, so we'll retract the flaps. And then we will contact the ATC approach facility. And it's going to start with flight following, but it will be an IFR flight plan.
Columbus approach November 9 or 5, 4 tree 5 is typed 1 mile southwest of India 66, 1,800 feet. Request flight
We're going to
following.
keep under the clouds since we're still
November
VFR.
9 or 5, 4 tree 5, Columbus approach. Squawk 4612.
4612. We'll acknowledge that.
Squawk 4612, 4 tree 5.
There we go. We're squawking 4612.
4 tree 5 radar contact. Tree miles south of India.
That was aggressive
66,
by accident.
2,900 feet. Altimeter tree 0. Tree 1.
3031, I guess. That's an aggressive change. We'll
Roger, 4
acknowledge
tree 5.
the radar contact. So these controls are a little bit sensitive still. Trying to be as easy on them as possible.
Columbus approach November 9 or 5, 4 tree 5, 2 miles northwest of 1 Oscar Hotel.
Still
0,
staying under the
3,200
clouds.
foot request IFR to Tree November Romeo, ready to copy. November 9 or 5, 4 tree 5 is cleared to Tree November Romeo Airport as filed. Squawk 4612.
So we got the clearance. We'll go ahead and turn on our autopilot. Acknowledge the clearance.
November 9 or 5, 4 tree 5, cleared to Tree November Romeo Airport as filed. Squawk 4612.
And we'll turn on nav mode. So we got nav mode, and then we're going to turn on flight level change so we can get our airspeed.
4,100 feet, altimeter tree 0.
And we will turn on the auto throttle.
Heading 170, proceed on course climb and maintain FL210.
Alright.
Continue to brush following heading 170, proceed on course climb and maintain FL210, 4 tree 5. 4 tree 5 contact Indianapolis Center on 1 tree 4. 0. Good day.
1340. Acknowledge that.
Go to 1 tree 4. 04 tree 5.
Okay, we'll throw that in the active. There we go, and we'll contact Indianapolis Center.
Indianapolis
Just
Center
make sure
November
altitude
9 or
reporting
5,
is on, which
4
it
tree
is.
5 is at 5,800 feet, climbing FL210.
4612. My bad.
November 9 or 5, 4
We'll
tree 5
cancel that.
Indianapolis Center, altimeter tree 0. Tree 1 radar contact, continue to brush.
Okay, so we're direct to brush now. That's good. We are climbing at 165 knots. Our altitude is set for flight level 210, so that's good. Once we get above 10,000, we'll turn our landing lights off. Engine gauges we're monitoring. Engine power's in the green. N1 and N2 are in the green. ITT, all of our engine gauges are in the green. Love to see it. Flaps are up, gears up. Trim is good to go. And our cabin pressure is indicating 1,300 feet. And very slowly climbing with altitude, which is good. We want it to be on the lower side so people can breathe. Aircraft is looking good. Our climb check is complete, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom this map out now to about, we'll do 50 nautical miles. Actually, we'll do more just to see how many miles away. So our destination airport is just about 200 miles away, so we'll expect about an hour in the air, give or take. Sweet. I just now realized that my camera was doing something weird. Let me go to my settings here. Ah, okay. Hey, there it is. Alright. Huh. It wouldn't be one of my streams if everything went correctly or as planned. It just wouldn't be my stream. Alright, so we're above 10,000, so the landing light is going to come off. Looking good there. We are still good on the engine gauges. The climb power is set. We are on auto throttle, which is good. Awesome. And now we just climb up to cruise. Once we exceed flight level 180, the pressure is going to standard. Looking at some rather scattered cloud in the area. It's looking pretty cool. Oh wow. This dude's hair is frizzy, like he was definitely in a rush to get to the plane. He almost didn't make it. Oh. Huh. Are those flags always there and I just missed them all the time? Probably. Interesting. I never removed the caps pin or the emergency exit pin over here. That's never great to see from a pilot. Well, I have an excuse. I'm not actually typed in the Cirrus Vision Jet, so. Alright. Best climb speed, 165. That's given us about a 1,500 foot per minute climb. That seems roughly accurate. Only about 8,000 feet to go, so not too bad. Seeing as how our cruise altitude is only flight level 210, our time in cruise should be relatively nice and long-ish. Not super long, but long enough to sit and enjoy. There's nothing on the weather screen, so that's really good. Have a nice smooth flight coming our way. Don't even need the traffic screen because traffic doesn't exist in career mode.
Indianapolis Center on 124. 225. Good day.
124, 225.
Going to 124. 225, 435.
Alright, 124, 225. And we'll give him a ring.
Indianapolis Center, November 905, 435 is at 15,500 feet, climbing FL210.
November 905, 435 Indianapolis Center altimeter tree 0. Tree 8 radar contact, continue to brush.
3038, alright. Alright, so outside air temperature is -18 and it looks like we're starting to enter some clouds, so let's go ahead and turn some of the anti-ice on just to make sure we don't accumulate anything. We got the windshield and the wing and stab. And that is flight level 180, so the altimeter can go to standard. So another thing I like about the Vision Jet in this game is that the standard button actually works, unlike half of the other aircraft. Cool. Alright, we're starting to get out of that visible moisture, so the windshield and the wing and stab can come off. Engine anti-ice is going to stay on, and then we'll try and flip that off for cruise. Okay. Climbing at about 1,200 feet per minute now. And then since we know how these missions work, to get the best rating, we will sit and cruise for a little while, and then as we start getting towards the airport, we'll, request a descent below the flight levels, and then we will cancel our IFR so we can just go into the airport without having to talk to the in-game ATC, because we know that they're not going to descend us or they're going to give us a weird vector. Seeing as how no update ever occurred, we know that's still going to be an issue. So we'll cancel the IFR clearance from ATC and we'll bring ourselves down. But since we can create our own descent, we'll do that. Pilot defined descent 220. Okay, fair enough. Just trying to look at the airport here. Okay. Neato. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom back out on my map here. And it looks like our airport is actually at a pretty high elevation. So I'm going to go look up the destination on Sky Vector. 33 November Romeo. Well, that should be fun to try and find. Maybe if I just look up on ForeFlight here. Okay. So I can't find it on Sky Vector, but I did find it on ForeFlight, and the field elevation is 4,278. So we're going to go ahead and just say we want to be at 4,500 feet at the end of the runway, and that's going to be MSL. And so we'll enter that, and then go to our VNav, and now we have a calculated top of descent for us that we can follow. And then a little bit before our top of descent, we will go down below the flight levels to cancel our IFR and, we can inform our passengers of cruise.
Sir, glad to be your captain today. First, I'd like to welcome you on behalf of First Class Wings on Flight FCW 1212. We are currently cruising at an altitude of 19,800 feet at an airspeed of 200 knots. It's 12:10 p.m. and are expecting to land in Mars Hill approximately at 3:10 a.m. local time. Current temperature of 68 degrees Fahrenheit. If the weather cooperates, we should get a great view of the area as we descend. I'll update you before we reach our destination. Until then, sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the flight.
Forgot about the visuals again. The visual aids. Alright, so we informed our passengers of cruise. We're in cruise. We're going to be in cruise for a little while, so we can sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. Alright. Sweet.
Tree 5 contact Indianapolis Center on 126-575. Good day.
Going to 126-575 for Tree 5. Indianapolis Center, November 9 or 5, 4 Tree 5 FL210.
November 9 or 5, 4 Tree 5 Indianapolis Center radar contact continue to wrist.
It is extraordinarily weird to me that the engine sounds just sometimes don't work. And I don't know what it is, because sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I don't know if it's the career mode mission that, you know, changes whether it works or not, or if it's just a sporadic, it works when it wants type thing. Very interesting issue. I mean, I guess it's a good thing that I can go in the exterior view here and not burst anyone's eardrums, but at the same time, why would we not get the engine sound? It's beyond me. Hopefully that'll be fixed on an update. Oh yeah, our landing lights are on too. That's really interesting. They're flashing back and forth. Oh, that could be our strobes. No, they shouldn't be. So the landing lights, let's turn those on. How weird. Okay. So when we turn on our strobes, the landing lights flash back and forth like a pulse light. But when we turn them, but when they're on, they're solid. But those are definitely not the strobes in the real aircraft, so that's interesting. Huh. You know, the lights to me are something that seems like a simple fix, but none of the lights work as they're supposed to on any of the aircraft as far as I'm concerned. Flying the 737 MAX in the game, anytime you turn the lights on, they don't work. The taxi lights seem to be on the 737 MAX, but they seem to constantly be on, whether you flip them on or not. I don't know. Some weird stuff with lighting code and all of that. Sim definitely needs a lot of work. It looks so good. I love the graphics. You know, the graphics are even better than that of 2020, but boy, the actual functionality of this sim is rough. I'm not giving up on it. I'll forever play it, but it's it needs some work. It's a little disappointing, and I want to fly my Boeing 707 that I, you know, spent the money for. Ugh. Whatever. I know that day will come. Just gotta be patient, I guess. Alright, so we're close enough to the top of the descent where I would like to get below the flight levels. So we're going to go ahead and request down to 17,000.
Indianapolis Center, 435. Request 17,000 feet.
435 descend and maintain 17,000 feet.
And we got it. Let's go.
Descend and maintain 17,000 feet, 435.
So we'll go ahead and descend at, why not do 1,300 feet per minute. Something I noticed, the FMC speed, the cruise speed has us at 0.42, when we definitely could cruise faster than that, but I'm not gonna worry too much about it. Alright. So we're going down to 17,000. It looks like we already have the ability to cancel our IFR, so why don't we go ahead and do that now? Never mind, it disappeared on us.
Indianapolis Center 4
Hey, there we go.
Cancel IFR at this time.
435 IFR flight plan is canceled. Radar service terminated. Squawk 1200. Maintain VFR. Frequency change approved. Good day.
Sweet. Kind of nice to not worry about it anymore. Okay. So we're descending down to 17,000. Our IFR is canceled, so now we have the ability to just walk ourselves down to the airport, which is really nice. We're at 1,000 to go. Alright, so our VNAV is enabled, which is good. It looks like our top of descent is still existing over here. It's counting down slowly, I think accounting for the descent that we're currently performing. When we get close to top of descent, we'll make sure our vertical track shows up. It should, but we'll double check as always. Fuel is looking very good. We got a little over 100 gallons, 111 gallons it looks like, so that's good. All the other systems are working just fine. We could double check, as always. Electrical system in the green, excellent. Ice protection. Our pitot heats are on. Engine anti-ice is on, and we're going to keep that on because we're not that low in the temperature where the ice will just bounce off the engine, so we'll just keep that anti-ice on for now. But the wings and the stabs are clear. Are off. The windshield is off, which is what we want. The IPS fluid is full, so we have enough fluid just in case we need windshield de-ice. Landing field elevation. Oh, fun. I didn't realize that it told us what the landing elevation was. Could have just looked it up right here. Oops. Well, the more you learn. So yeah, 4,200 feet is the landing elevation. Oh, it actually even says so right here. Destination elevation 4282. Yeah. Just keep learning new stuff as you fly. You never stop learning, even as a pilot. It's a scary thought to think about, but it's really not that scary. Because you can still be a decent pilot and still learn. In fact, a good pilot is always learning. Alright, we'll go back to the map and keep an eye on our track. And it will be about probably 5 miles, maybe even less, before the vertical track starts showing up on our PFD. But of course we're going to be looking out for it to make sure that it does in fact show up, so we can use our VNav to descend down to the airport. It does look like we're going to get some prevailing visual conditions, so we'll just shoot a visual approach to runway 6, which is going to be facing towards the east. So we're going to, we'll expect a left downwind from our current position. We'll enter on the 45, or as close to on the 45 as possible. Everything up to this point is looking fantastic. I do like to see it. It's very interesting to see the difference between the avionics setup that's in this 2024 default Vision Jet compared to the third-party Vision Jet that is in Microsoft 2020. In my opinion, everything looks a lot more flat. And the colors are also a little bit different. Like in this sim, the colors are more vibrant on the avionics, and they're less so in 2020. I don't know. There's definitely differences between the two. We've entered the territory of Atlanta Center. Alright. We are really moving towards the south here. We'll go ahead and reduce the range on our map again. So it looks like we're about 20 miles to top of descent, so we should get our VNav profile here very shortly. We'll keep watching for that. Since this is going to wind up being a visual approach, we don't really have all that much to set up for. So honestly, it should be a really easy going descent and landing. Alright, cool. Still just baffling to me we're not hearing an engine or anything. Usually at this point our private charter people will be talking on the phone saying, hey, we're this many minutes out, and then lose connection, quote unquote. Even though they're lucky they had a connection in the first place in the air. Right on. So we are 15 miles from the top of descent, it looks like. Maybe even a little bit less. Just kind of scanning everything, looking closely. Alright, top of descent is within 1 minute, so let's go ahead and arm VNAV mode. We do have a vertical track popping up right here, so that's good. And then let's see if the aircraft will automatically intercept that vertical track and begin its descent accordingly. If not, we might have to take it off of altitude mode. Oh, you know what? I do have to reduce the altitude. Almost did that again. I don't know why I always forget to do that when it comes to setting up VNAV. I always forget to reduce the altitude in the autopilot setting, but I remembered this time, so hopefully this is going to work. Oh, it's flipping over the path. It's initiating a descent. It's come out of altitude hold mode, so look at that. We are looking really phenomenal so far. Alright. So we should have a nice smooth descent angle down to the airport. And we're just going to monitor our gauges. We are in VFR conditions. We may go through like a quick cumulus cloud or two, but not enough to really be considered full-blown IMC. So we can visually confirm that the VNAV profile is keeping us away from potential collision hazards, whether it be terrain or obstacles. And when we're 10 miles from the field, we'll use the quick ATC to contact the arrival airport, because I don't feel like going to nearest airport list and searching for the required one. But then after that, we'll use the manual options over here just to ensure we're making all necessary radio calls for the smooth and operation and the safety of flight. We are below the flight level, so we'll go ahead and get our altimeter setting and take it out of standard mode. Looks like the altimeter setting is 3029er, so that's good. Alright, roughly about 30 miles from the destination, 30 nautical miles. We're getting close. Let's see if we can maintain the quality ratings that these missions have given us in the past. I'm really working to get back on that S tier list, because that gets you the best bonuses of all, and I'd like to think I'm an S tier pilot. Maybe not. I'd like to think so, so that's what I'm sticking to. Alright. The outside air temperature is increasing as we descend. I know in the beginning of the flight, the captain said 60-something degrees, but I'm not sure I buy that at the destination. I know it's North Carolina, but it is also in high elevation, and the cold air in the U.S. has definitely made its way south. I'd like to think this is real-time weather. I'm really not 100% sure, to be honest with you. Alright, so we're at 220 knots, which is fine. The auto throttle is taking care of the power setting. I like it. We're on our GPS track. Looks like we are going to be going right into this mountain range here, but it looks like the mountain range is beyond the clouds, so we should be in VFR conditions by the time we get to that area. If this were a real-life IFR flight, there would be a lot more procedure revolving around this. This airport does not have any approaches, so you wouldn't even be flying in IFR conditions anyway. But there would be procedures in place to keep you safe. Wouldn't be just winging it the way that I am right now. Okay, we'll reduce the range on the map again. Really trying to figure out. So the airport elevation is 4,500, right? And looking at the colors of the terrain, it looks like that's not as dark as some of these areas. So I'm going to imagine that some of these areas may be 5,500, maybe even approaching 6,000 feet MSL as far as the peaks of the mountains. So this cloud is definitely in the way. I'm not expecting any surprises when I break out, but we're just going to make sure. There's definitely a little bit of transparency to them in some of these spots, like this little gap right here. I can kind of see the ground. I can see through here. But it does look like a lot of these peaks right here, which indicate on the very dark colors on the map, they are still below us, which is good. However, the mountains do be creating some turbulence for us, which is pretty typical. If I see something I don't like, I'm going to, take control by hand, and we're going to fly this aircraft manually to our destination airport. So, actually looks like I might have to take over now, because this first range is not particularly high, but the next range that we have to pass over before we reach our destination airport is definitely kind of high. So we're going to go through this cloud, and then we're just going to try and maintain a visual on this terrain. This turbulence is very intense. Okay. Alright, so we're definitely above the terrain for now. We're past this first range. Now this second range is actually, looks like this is what it's indicating right here. So we're still above that. We're going to go ahead and start slowing down. And we're going to enter on kind of a left base, because it's going to be a little bit easier for me to find the airport if I enter more on a base than I do a downwind. So let's go ahead and make our position call. We should have did that a while ago.
Tree November Romeo traffic November 905 435 4 miles northwest 7500. Fort inbound to land runway 24.
Now the big question is going to be where this airport actually is. So let's go ahead and make a really wide base and try and locate the runway. So guesstimating, it looks like it's probably about 3 miles to our left. So this little area right here might actually be it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow this aircraft down, walk some power out, and then we're going to drop the landing gear to help keep us slow, introduce some drag. And then we're going to turn, and we're going to see if this is the runway that we're looking for. Which it does appear to me that it is. Alright, yep, that's a runway. So we're going to make like a right teardrop sort of entry here just to get ourselves lined up at the runway. So we'll pass the airport just a little bit and then make a teardrop to get in. We'll go ahead and put our first notch of flaps in since we're in the white arc. We won't exceed the flap speed. And we'll go ahead and make that right turn now. Well, didn't mean for it to be so quick, but oh, it's a bit of a steep turn. Didn't pay as close attention to the bank angle as I should have, but that's okay because we corrected immediately. So we shouldn't get too docked for that one. And the goal here is to just bleed off the altitude because we were definitely really high. A lot higher than we should have been coming close to that airport. The turbulence is really messing with my bank angle here. Alright, so we have 3 greens, the gear's down, engine gauges are on the green, landing lights are on, we are configured for landing, which is good. This is a really high field elevation, so our performance is definitely going to be degraded quite a bit. Okay, so our airport's over here somewhere. I did have a visual on it, but I'm not so sure anymore. We're definitely on runway heading. Wow, that turbulence is extraordinarily aggressive. So I definitely thought I had the airport in sight, but I don't right now. This turbulence is way too much. I mean, that might not be true. Well, because let's see. Am I getting wind data? Yeah, the wind is at 19 knots, so I guess it really could bounce off of the mountains and create kind of the havoc that we're seeing it creating right now. Let's see. Finding this airport is kind of a challenge. We're going to go in the exterior mode and see if we can't locate it this way. So I want to make sure I make it to the airport. Which I'm not seeing. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing this airport. That's really unfortunate. So we're going to go full power. Flaps are going to be walked up. Where is this airport? It's really fun trying to find these airports in the game that they really don't make easy to find. Really hope we don't get docked for overflying the airport. We probably will, but what can I say? Where is this place? Because now we're roughly at pattern altitude. Do I have to go in the outside view again to find this? Is that the strip right there? Yes, it is. Okay, so we got to try and maintain visual with that strip right there. We're getting a very aggressive crosswind, so we're going to have to keep that in mind so we don't get lost. But the good news is we finally found the airstrip. Oof. It's a good thing I retracted the flaps because we are going quite fast. So let's go ahead and bleed off that airspeed, introduce our flaps, and then try and make a nice and quick entry to this runway that we had in sight. Definitely want to lose that altitude, bleed it off. We should have the runway over here. We're kind of going through a cloud which is obscuring our view, which is unfortunate. That wind is really pushing us away from the runway, which is no help to us, but we're gonna deal with it anyway. Alright, there we go. I have visual of the runway. Wow, this crosswind is insane. Alright, so we're going full flaps. We're going to increase power because this aircraft doesn't seem to want to maintain its speed very much. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to pitch down just a little bit, try and get onto this runway that was very insanely difficult to find. We're just going to power idle. Announce on final.
Tree November Romeo, traffic November 905 Tree 5 is on final runway 24 to land.
Just kind of walk that airspeed off. Come on, baby. Nice and easy. Okay. Wait, land on runway 24. What do you mean? So our plan was to land on runway 6 and it chose 24. Not gonna lie to you, I've never really understood what the mission steps want from us. That's okay. We'll just exit the runway.
That was a smooth ride. Thanks for the safe travel, Captain.
Oh.
I will recommend your company.
Okay, I guess he wants us to just park here. Cool. So flaps are up, all of our anti-ices, bleed airs, and probe heats are coming off, landing lights off. We'll go ahead and turn the engine knob to off, engine stop. We are below 20% N1, so the strobes are coming off. Oops. What did I do? I hit a button, I'm not sure what. Oh well. Oh well, fine by me. Fuel pressure's low, that's fine because our engine is shutting off. Cool, mission success. But it said we landed on the wrong runway, which is not what the flight plan had us doing, so that's really unfortunate. So we're not getting an S tier, it doesn't look like. Just short of it. Cool. Oh well. I'll take the A, that's fine. Airline procedures is 100%, so that's good. Condition of the aircraft, 98% good. Passenger satisfaction is 74. I don't really know why that bled off, so that's interesting. The runway thing was whack. But we did get 18,000 credits off of the deal, and our reputation did go up. So I'm going to take that as a win. Yeah, level goes up a lot. So we're at level 81 now. Alright, cool. Well, that's all I got for today. I was really hoping that the update that I saw when I loaded in was, since it was 2.5 gigs, I was hoping it was going to be something good. It turned out to not be something good. That's unfortunate. Oh well, whatever. Hopefully soon, anyway. But a little debrief from that flight. Takeoff was fine, climb out was fine, planning our descent was fine. Trying to find the airport was an absolute disaster. When you fly in mountainous, high terrain type area like that, you usually have a lot of training before you actually take on something like that by yourself. If you're going to fly into a hard-to-find airport in very hard-to-navigate terrain like that, you're typically going to have someone on board with you, whether it's an instructor or someone that is familiar with the area, before you ever try and take something like that on by yourself. So clearly, I'm not familiar with that area. That airport was extremely difficult for me to find, and I did the best that I could to find the airport. And, you know, the first time when I thought I was heading towards the runway, I was not, and I got really low, and my climb back out towards pattern altitude was really close to the ground, and for obvious reasons that could have gone south. But we managed to get up in the air, did a proper go-around procedure, even though we weren't anywhere close to the runway. And we managed to relocate the airport. We saw it. The wind change per altitude was really aggressive. So that was practically wind shear, a really aggressive crosswind to relatively little wind on landing. So the last thing was that landing on the wrong runway thing. The flight plan had me at runway 6, and I could have sworn when we made the initial ATC call that it was also saying runway 6, but then all of a sudden we were expected to land 24, so I don't know. I don't know what the game expects you to do as far as the landing runway, because I have landed based on wind, and it told me it was the wrong runway. And then I landed based on the flight plan, and it also told me it was the wrong runway. So I don't know what this game's looking for, but, you know, I probably could have looked a little harder to determine the correct runway, but here we are. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm going to try and come up with something really good for the next stream. Maybe not something really good, but something different, something fun. Keep changing it up so we're not doing the same thing over and over again. Hopefully that update comes soon. We really got kind of tricked out this time, for sure. 2.5 gigs for an avionics fix for just the Xbox is kind of crazy and misleading, so that's disappointing. But yeah, I'll try and come up with something. Don't know when the next stream is going to be, but if you guys have any ideas, leave a comment. Let me know what you want to see, and we can make it happen. But that's it. Hope everyone has a good night, good couple of days, whatever. And until next time, we'll see ya!